Chapter 6: The Science of Scoliosis Progression. When people first hear that scoliosis involves genes, brain chemicals, and hormones, they sometimes picture a tangled ball of invisible threads too complex to untie. The truth is simpler. The body follows clear signals, and if those signals drift off course, whether because of inherited traits, chemical messengers, or growth spurts, spinal curves can grow faster than expected. By learning how these signals work, families and doctors can choose tools that guide them back on track. This chapter unpacks each signal one at a time and then shows how they combine to shape a child's spine. Genetics, the blueprint inside every cell. Genes are stretches of DNA that act like instruction pages in an owner's manual. They tell cells how strong to make bone, how stretchy to weave ligaments, and how quickly to move minerals like calcium into growing vertebrae. Over the last 20 years, scientists have identified dozens of gene markers linked to adolescent idiopathic scoliosis, or AIS for short. Some markers control collagen, the springy rope that lets joints flex without tearing. Others guide bone-building cells or tweak the shape of the tiny bony wings that line each vertebra. One well-studied gene is called FBN1, which helps build fibrillin, a protein that keeps tissues elastic. Certain rare changes in FBN1 can weaken ligament tension, making the spine more likely to drift. Another gene group, LBX1, influences how spinal nerves grow during the earliest weeks in the womb. If those nerves map out even a few millimeters off-center, the muscles they control may pull unevenly once a child starts walking. While no single variant causes scoliosis alone, carrying several risk markers raises the odds that a curve will appear or progress quickly during growth spurts. Genes meet the environment. Genes load the gun. Environment pulls the trigger. Picture two classmates who share the same AIS risk variants. One spends afternoons outside, eats calcium-rich foods, sleeps 9 hours a night, and practices karate, which strengthens core muscles. The other skips breakfast, plays video games slouched on the couch, and often sleeps only 6 hours. Even with matching DNA, the first child gives bones and muscles the resources they need to stay solid, while the second child adds stress to an already shaky system. That contrast shows how lifestyle can dial risk up or down, even when genes set the starting point. This area of study, how choices turn genes on or off, is called epigenetics. Neurotransmitters, the brain's instant messages. While genes write the long-term blueprint, neurotransmitters handle split-second communication. These tiny chemicals zip across nerve gaps to pass instructions like contract or relax to muscles around the spine. The two big players in scoliosis research are serotonin and dopamine, though others, like norepinephrine and GABA, also matter. Serotonin, the balance keeper. Serotonin is famous for lifting mood, but it also controls balance and muscle tone. Picture a tall ship rocked by waves. Serotonin is the sailor who tightens or loosens ropes so the mast stays upright. If a child's body makes too little serotonin, core muscles may slacken on one side while over-tightening on the other. This imbalance can twist vertebrae a tiny bit each day. One study found that teens with progressing curves often had lower blood serotonin, especially during rapid height gain. Boosting serotonin through diet, foods rich in tryptophan like turkey and seeds, bright light exposure, or targeted supplements sometimes steadies sway and calms tight muscles, though each plan should be supervised by a qualified clinician. Dopamine, the posture coach. Dopamine fuels focus, movement speed, and the quick corrections that keep us from tipping over. Imagine walking on a balance beam. Every wobble sparks a burst of dopamine that tells ankle and hip muscles to fire. Some children carry variants in the COMT gene, which guides how fast dopamine breaks down. A slow COMT leaves dopamine signals ringing too long, muddling timing. A fast COMT clears dopamine so quickly that signals arrive as faint whispers. Either glitch can delay postural reflexes by a split second, enough time for gravity to tug the spine off center. Testing dopamine levels can guide therapy. Core drills set to metronomes, rhythm sports like jump rope, or vestibular exercises on wobble boards help retrain timing. Hormones, nature's growth commands. Puberty unleashes a flood of hormones that tell bones to stretch, muscles to bulk, and ligaments to loosen so joints can keep up. For children with scoliosis risk, this flood can act like high tide, pushing a boat farther from shore. 3 hormones deserve special attention: estrogen, growth hormone, and leptin. Estrogen and ligament stretch. Estrogen rises sharply in girls between ages 10 and 14, softening ligaments so the pelvis can widen, a smart design for future childbirth. Unfortunately, looser spinal ligaments mean vertebrae rely more on muscle control for stability. If muscle signals lag because of low serotonin or dopamine issues, curves can gallop from mild to severe in a single school year. Monitoring growth charts and scheduling extra checkups during peak height velocity, the fastest 3-month span of growth, helps catch rapid shifts before they cross surgical thresholds. Growth hormone, rocket fuel for bones. Growth hormone, GH, surges mainly at night, knitting new bone tissue along the spine. Think of GH as rocket fuel. When fuel pours in fast, any tilt in the rocket's base widens, exaggerating the angle. Children who grow more than 2 inches in 6 months deserve closer imaging or surface scans, especially if genetic markers predict higher risk. Some clinics time intensive posture training or suit-based therapies to these rapid growth windows, aiming to guide vertebrae while they are still pliable. Leptin and energy signals. Leptin is a hormone released by fat cells that tells the brain how much energy is stored. Strange as it seems, leptin also affects bone density. Low leptin levels, common in very lean children, can slow bone building, while high levels, seen in overweight kids, can stiffen growth plates. Both extremes may increase curve risk if the skeleton cannot adapt evenly. Balanced nutrition and healthy body weight act like Goldilocks. Not too much, not too little, but just right. The domino effect, when signals collide. Genes, neurotransmitters, and hormones rarely act alone. Instead, they stack like dominoes. Picture a girl named Lena who inherits a collagen variant that makes spinal ligaments extra stretchy. She also has low serotonin, so her muscles react a bit late when she tilts. At age 11, her estrogen spikes, loosening those ligaments even more. The combined effect is a perfect storm: soft guy wires, slow corrections, and rapid growth. Within months, Lena's curve leaps from 15 to 30 degrees. By mapping each domino, doctors can design a multi-step plan: serotonin support, core strength games, and perhaps an active posture suit to keep the line from tipping farther. Testing tools. Seeing the invisible. You cannot fix what you cannot measure. Thankfully, modern clinics have quick, painless tests. Genetic cheek swabs reveal risk variants in as little as 2 weeks. Urine or blood panels show neurotransmitter levels and how well the body clears them. Saliva hormone kits track estrogen surges and growth hormone rhythms without needles. These tests cost less than a high-end smartphone and often save families thousands by preventing ineffective treatments. Results come with color-coded charts and plain language guides so parents and teens can see which areas shine green and which blink red. Building a personalized plan. Armed with test data, a care team can layer supports like ingredients in a smoothie. Genetic insights. Leaky gut syndrome? Add digestive enzymes and a broad-spectrum probiotic. Bone density variant? Ensure vitamin D, calcium, and weight-bearing play. Jump rope, parkour. Neurotransmitter balance. Low serotonin? daily morning walks in sunlight, tryptophan-rich snacks, and rhythmic breathing drills. Fast COMT dopamine burners, short bursts of balance games tied to music beats sharpen timing. Hormone timing, height spurt forecast, schedule monthly spinal scans and boost muscle training frequency. Approaching menarche, teach stress management skills. Cortisol spikes can worsen ligament laxity. Each edition is small on its own. An extra glass of fortified milk, 5 minutes on a wobble board, a reminder to practice belly breathing before bed. But together they shift the internal signals towards stability. Real-life turnaround, Marco's journey. Marco was 12 when his 20-degree thoracic curve landed him in a brace he hated. Genetic testing showed 2 collagen risk variants and a fast COMT allele. Neuropanels revealed borderline dopamine. Rather than increase brace hours, his care team pivoted. Mornings began with 5 minutes on a balance board while listening to clapping metronome tracks to fine-tune dopamine timing. Afternoons featured resistance band circuits that built thoracic extensor strength. Evening meals added salmon and spinach to lift collagen health. Over the next year, including a 6-inch height jump, his curve held at 22 degrees, and his core strength scored above average for his age. Marco still wears a light nighttime brace, but he plays basketball freely, and his latest scan shows improved spinal rotation symmetry, proof that targeting root signals can guide growing bones. Debunking common myths. Only girls get progressing curves. Boys carry risk markers too, they just peak a year later on average. If no one in the family has scoliosis, genes do not matter. Many variants hide in family lines without causing curves until combined with the right growth and neurotransmitter environment. You cannot fix brain chemical problems without medication. Diet, sunlight, exercise, and stress management can shift serotonin and dopamine by 10 to 20%, often enough to aid posture. Knowing what isn't true clears space for what is proven. Key takeaways. Genes set the stage. Collagen strength, nerve mapping, and bone density all start with DNA. Neurotransmitters direct the play. Serotonin and dopamine control balance and timing. Imbalances tilt the plot. Hormones cue the spotlight. Growth spurts and estrogen surges speed whichever trend is already in motion. Signals stack. A small glitch in each area can join forces into a big push on the spine. Testing guides action. Simple swabs and panels turn guesses into clear maps. Personalized plans work with nature, not against it. Small daily habits aimed at each weak link can hold curves steady, even through the roller coaster ride of puberty. Looking ahead. In the next chapter, we will explore reflexive response rehabilitation, practical ways to teach the brain and body to stand tall, using balance boards, smart wearables, and playful drills. Remember, a curve is not destiny. By understanding the science of scoliosis progression, you gain the power to shape your own story. One informed choice, one healthy habit, and one confident step at a time.